The Retaliators, a new film that is now available to rent on VOD and is also available to purchase on physical media. It stars a lot of hard rock musicians. Is it really worth your time? Well, let's discuss it. An upstanding pastor uncovers a dark and twisted underworld as he searches for answers surrounding his daughter's brutal murder. The film stars Michael Lombardi, Joseph Gatt, Katie Kelly, Abby Heffer, Jacob Shaddix, Brian O'Halloran, and Shannon Wilson, and was directed by Samuel Gonzalez Jr., Michael Lombardi, and Bridget Smith. The only reason I had heard of this film is mainly because I saw that it came out in physical media and a bunch of people were going on Blu-ray hunts and picking this film up, and I had never heard of it, and I found out that it was a 2021 film. I saw that Spencer from Ice Nine Kills is in it. I really like Ice Nine Kills. You have the lead singer from Papa Roach, and you have all the members of Five Finger Death Punch, and you even have Tommy Lee from Motley Crue in this movie. So that was kind of the selling point of watching this film, and then also finding out that it is a horror film. But after I watched this film and knowing now that there was 3 directors involved in this film, I can see why this film was very convoluted and kind of a mess, to be honest. It starts off with these girls that are in the woods and they come across these zombie-like creatures. That particular scene is a scene that comes up later in the film, and you get a lot of different plot points that are filled in between that scene towards the end of the film. And I really didn't like the fact that they started it off with that scene because it really wasn't really reflecting of what this movie was about. We're then introduced to this pastor who is obviously pastoring this church. He has a daughter, and the daughter ends up getting kidnapped, and she ends up getting brutally murdered. And then we have this man that is really tugging with his faith and then trying to plot his revenge to finding this person or persons that killed his daughter. And then he obviously hires a detective to try to do this work for him. And of course, he goes on the run to try to seek out who did this to his daughter. And that's one part of the film. And then you have these biker gang that features a bunch of different hard rock musicians like Jacoby from Papa Roach, a few other actors. You have Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. And they have a lot of those cameos throughout this film, but I don't really think they really add a lot to this film, as it mainly just seems like they're just there to really get you to buy the movie and, of course, just sell the product for itself. So it feels a lot of product placement, and I also feel like with that product placement, it also has a lot of their music. So it features From Ashes to New, Papa Roach, and also Five Finger Death Punch music within the film. And of course, that music's really great if you like that music, and of course, I do like that music, so that's really great to grab my attention. But at the same time, a lot of the music gets really forced into certain scenes. I would say that it flows at times, but it doesn't help that it has that product placement so much throughout the film. And of course, a lot of the acting in here, it's not very good. It's very Hallmark-like. It's not the worst acting I've ever seen, and it's not unwatchable, but there's a lot of convoluted points in this film that really make you question, what are the writers doing here? What is the directors doing here? You have one plot in the beginning that really captures your attention with these zombies, but that's really not even the main point of the movie. And then you have this pastor that's looking to get revenge on his daughter. Then you also have these drug dealers and bikers that are involved in the movie as well. So you have all these different plots mixed in. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but it seems more so like a suspenseful thriller movie. It doesn't have a lot of horror moments, although I will say that it does have some bloody moments, which make the film really cool and have that gore that you really want in a horror movie. So if you're really a fan of blood and gore, I think that it has that, but I don't think it has enough of that. And I say mainly towards the last 15-20 minutes of the movie, you have a really good fight scene, which involves a lot of blood, which is really great if you're really into that. Mainly for this film, it really struggled on a tone, and it felt like it just had too many ideas that you've seen in other movies that were all combined into one, and it really couldn't pick what route it wanted to take. So it has some interesting ideas, even though a lot of those ideas have been done before, but at the same time, it just can't settle on one idea to really pick. And I think that's where this film, it really fails to really live up to a full-scale good story And I'm not saying that this kind of film was probably going to have a really good story anyway, but when you have so many ideas like this involving zombies, you have a pastor that is wanting to seek revenge, which I had a really rough time really believing, because the whole faith portion I don't really think really plays a big factor in this. You also have some crooked cops as well, which you've seen that trope many a times in films. It's not anything really new, and I don't think most of the plot points in here are really going to really have anything new here that you haven't seen before. But overall, for me, it just really missed the mark, and I would say this is a meh kind of film. It definitely had its moments where I was entertained, but I just felt like it just didn't really pick the genre that it wanted to be, and that's really why I would give this film a 2 out of 5 and nothing really more. I didn't really completely hate this film. I wasn't bored watching this film. I just felt that it presented a lot of ideas, and it just didn't really mesh as one when the film actually wrapped up. But let me know down in the comments, have you checked out this film? If you have checked out this film, let me know what you thought about it. Thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.